Yeah, I don't know how you get politicians out of the way. That's a good trick.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
But I know that we want to talk a little bit about land and the procurement of land from the federal government, perhaps to help builders, and maybe trying to design a plan to entice builders to build more entry-level stuff. What do you think, Nick?
I mean, I think that'd be a great idea. And Patrick, I know in your space you talk to a lot of folks that help make policy here. Do you know sort of what the hesitancy is to want to get out of builders' way and allow them to build a little bit more to make it easier from what we can do locally?
Oh, are you talking about in terms of the county perspective?
Yeah, in terms of counties and the municipals.
Yeah, I mean, on the federal level, it's basically got to be an act of Congress, which is never going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Not this Congress. No. Yeah, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, they obviously tried. Amadei tried recently, and he got pretty close, but I could see it being a wedge issue for a while. In terms of what I hear on the county and municipal level is just basic things like zoning, too many regulations, and cost of land is the other thing.
Yeah.
Is they look at, say, a really small, there's a lot of, if you drive through Las Vegas, everybody knows, you see these really small patches of dirt, a couple acres sort of sprinkled everywhere. And the home builders are just giving up on them for a number of reasons. One, it's either controlled by the feds or the feds have a rights of way. So if you want to build through it, then you've got to get a federal grant, which takes 3 years. So they just say no.
Yeah.
Or the other is that it's just zoned improperly.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a year and a half to get the zoning correct. And then the density doesn't work for starter homes. So they just go, there's no point. We're going to lose money on this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know what they're saying to you on a policy level, but it seems like if you could somehow just turn 5 or 6 of these levers off, these bottlenecks, there might be just a flood of development that could really bring down the cost of living here.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And that's the tricky thing with zoning is, I mean, there's a way to modify zoning to allow that to build to happen. If you're a vacant parcel next to something that's already zoned for residential, that you could modify the zoning code to allow that to be.
You would think, right? Yeah, it would make perfect sense.
Well, it's really funny because I was at the county commissioners where your colleague Sean McCoy was speaking, and Justin Jones talked about, and Marilyn Kirkpatrick talked about Title 30 and their comprehensive zoning redo to basically deregulate.
Right.
And then Jones basically said flat out, it didn't really work. We did all this work, spent all this money to redo the zoning in the county, and he just flat out said in the meeting that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so it's like part of that was I start to question sort of the political side of it. Yeah. Whereas like, do they really do it, or should they just get out of the way, right? But I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you get politicians out of the way. That's a good trick. Look, I think it boils down. I mean, we're talking about this, and what it's boiling down to is that thing that I always talk about. It's this supply and demand, and the supply is the issue right now. We need more housing now. Part of the challenge of that, and part of the opposition, that one of the reasons that they're fighting that is they're worried about how the resources in our valley, particularly water and or transportation. Those are some concerns. Truth be told is that every time I've spoken to the people at the Southern Nevada Water Authority, they're saying, hey, water's not going to be a problem. That's what they keep telling us.
Yeah, every time I write an article about housing, I get 5 or 6 emails from people who appear to be older Las Vegas residents saying, what about the water? Yeah. And I can't respond to comments because it opens up a whole wormhole for me.
Sure.
But I really want to respond to them and be like, I'm pretty sure we got it figured out for a while.